G'day everybody, how you going today? It is so very good to see you. I do hope you're super well. Today I wanted to make a video about taking photographs. How cool's that? That's why we're all here, isn't it? To take photographs. Recently I was away with the family. About 6 families went away into the country and we did what's called glamping, which is kind of camping but only sort of halfway there. It was a lot of fun. We did it before our most recent lockdown. It was about a month ago in early May. And it was a great time. The kids were playing, they were riding their bikes, there were bonfires, there was roasting marshmallows, and there was whiskey. I always take my camera gear with me everywhere I go because you just never know when something special is going to happen. And of course, me being me, I'm sitting out in the bonfire. It's getting late at night. It's winter here, so the sun goes down at about 5 o'clock and it's pitch black because we're way out in the country. And suddenly all 20 people that were around me for some reason disappeared. I don't really remember the reason. Perhaps it was the 3 whiskeys that I'd had so far. But suddenly I found myself with this big bonfire in the middle of the darkness, and I'm like, ooh, I think there might be a good shot here. And as I roll, I had the Z6II and the 50mm 1.2 just sitting on my lap with me, just getting shots. Because of course, if you're shooting in the dark with super low light, well, you do want a camera that's great at high ISO and a lens that's great at seeing in the dark. So the Z6II and the 50mm 1.2 do appear to be extraordinarily good choices for that sort of situation. And what I want to show you here today is an image that I just snapped off, 3 whiskeys in, having a great time, very relaxed. I only spent 3 or 4 minutes creating this shot, and it's now inspired me to go out and actually do this even better in the future. I want to go out to the desert or somewhere and do this, really, really well, and maybe get some people in the shot as well. But I want to show you what this amazing gear can do with very little effort. We're going to look at the shot, look at the raw image, look at a little bit of post-processing. I did very little to it, and how to me it kind of ended up looking like, and this is it here, it ends up looking a little bit like an ad that you would see in a magazine. So let's jump in and look at this file. As I said, it was in promptu shot. There's lots of things I'd change about it, but still very impressed with what this gear can pull off with very little effort.
This is the raw image shot. And let's have a look here. Shot on the Z6II back in May, so it's only just over a month ago. Late at night. Yes, it was late at night. On the 50mm 1.2. 1/25 of a second, 1.2, ISO 100, and we're in the country, so it's very, very dark besides these 2 lamps that I set up. In the end, I kind of created this crazy kind of look of it being like a lounge room, but outside, next to a bonfire. So it was pretty cool. Now let's have a look at the minor adjustments that I've made here. So I've brought the exposure up a little. You can see this is what it looked like before I did that. And I've brought up the shadows a little, just in general to create a bit more brightness. Oh, and I've vignetted the corners because I just like to do that. I do that with almost all my images, but this is, as we can see, relatively untouched out of the Nikon Z6. We've got this super bright light here and it's looking really good, and we're pushing it to the limit. And of course, as you know, I like to shoot wide open. So here we are with the glass of whiskey. That's what I was drinking, this glass of whiskey here in focus, which of course that's where the focus should be. Now, there's a little bit more to this image. I had these 3 adjustment layers. Now, the first adjustment layer was to get rid of this. I thought it was distracting. That was a spark. Second one was just to darken this corner here. I didn't love this chair. It wasn't my favorite chair. If I was actually planning this shoot, I would have got a better chair. And then this final adjustment layer, I wonder if anybody can see what it's doing. And what it's doing is it's assisting with the tiny amount of purple fringing that appears on this lens in these extraordinarily harsh conditions, which is nighttime and an extraordinarily bright light up against that background. So all I did was create a black and white little adjustment layer, and if you look really closely, you can see it here. It's very simple to do. It's no big deal. I can show you the layer by just attempting to draw some more of it. See, that's what it looks like there. And that's it. So this is the raw image. Very, very little has been done to it. This took me like 5 minutes to do all this sort of stuff. And, you know, I might even, because it's a bit distracting, have a look at these green areas here. And we've got a cranky pixel there. So let's get rid of that one. Let's create a new layer. And we're going to remove, but this is harder because there's color. Let's have a think about how we might do that. Anyway, we'll start by drawing a mask. Not that big. Let's zoom right in there. And whether it's Photoshop or this software, it's always a challenge in my mind. How do you fix things? Because with a lot of this software, there's more than one way to solve these problems. And I'd like to say I haven't done this before in Capture One, gotten rid of the green. And I don't think just desaturation is going to be the best method. Now there was a little bit here, and we probably should have gone with a much smaller brush like I did on the light. We're just having a play here. I'm just showing you how this awesome image was made. Alright, so we've done our mask. Let's see what happens if we desaturate it a little bit. Now we can pull out certain colors as well, which might be another way to go. Yeah, so there's changing the color of the background, which we don't want to do. We can probably go to about there, and it diminishes it a little bit. Let's have a look here at these tools. Like I said, I haven't done this before. We want selective color, which is what you find in Photoshop. Color editor, let's try that one. Okay, yeah, we want greens, and we want to turn the greens down. Oh, well, there you go. That worked. That worked quite well. Yeah, I'm a fan of that, so I would actually probably go even bigger with the mask, and thus it would kind of feather it in more. Yeah, that looks good. I'm really happy with that, actually. Let's see what happens when we do it here. Just a bit more there. Let's go larger here because we've worked out a way to make that work. Might be a different shade of green there. Let's just show the difference. Yeah, no, that's made a difference. The green is much less stronger. We could do more. I think that's going to be helpful. Make it darker. Look, I'm happy with that. I think if you hadn't drawn attention to it, if we hadn't drawn attention to it, we'd be paying very little notice to it at this point in time. Okay, so there's the image. We're going to pump that out as a PSD file, and we're going to jump over to Photoshop, put it on the correct layer, and we can see here that this is what I created. This was my piece. This was my just impromptu creation of a Nikon ad, and this is the file. I'm really happy with how this turned out. Photoshop allows you obviously to do the basics of text, brought the logo in for the Z and the Nikon. That's all there is to it. Here is the new version of the file I just created. That's it there. So if we have a look at the lamp area, we can see, and oh, there's the pixel as well. And we can see that was a really quick change, but completely worth it. Looks great. And so why I wanted to share this with you is that I was sitting at the fire, we're having a whiskey, surrounded by kids, surrounded by adults. We're in the country. I've got the Z6 in my hand, just snapping shots of everybody having fun. Everybody runs away, I can't remember why. And within the space of just a few minutes, and I was actually on a phone call with my mate, but I just want to show you what's possible at f1.2. handheld. Imagine if we set this up and we did everything to advantage the shot. This is basically just a snapshot, which I spent all of just a couple of minutes putting together. Just another example of the Z6II and the 50mm 1.2 showing off. I'd love to see any shots that you have like this. If you want to send them through to me or send them via Instagram or whatever way you want, jump on the website, you can email me, I'll email you back. I'd love to see what you can achieve with your Z camera when you're just spontaneous, but something magical happens. Because this to me was magical, and it ended up looking so good I decided to turn it into an ad. And the only thing I'd change is the chair. Otherwise, super happy.
So there you have it. That's the Z6II and the 50mm 1.2 from my perspective showing off. As I've said before, I really do feel that some of these Z lenses, most of these Z lenses, have a little bit of a medium format vibe about them. The 3D nature of what they're able to extrude, whether it's contrast, I'm not sure. I'm not a lens scientist, but I'd love to know the factors that make a lens feel really dimensional. It has this great dimensionality about it. It's a hard word to say. I've had no whiskies at all. These lenses really intrigue me, and I really want to continue to push them to kind of see how far we can go. In my recent 50mm macro lens review, I really saw both the macro lenses, but this one here in particular, have a look at this one on the 50mm. There's just this great depth and color and rendition that just come out of these lenses. So, and I love that stuff. I love making the medium of photography, which is flat. It's flat. It's a flat screen. It's a flat piece of paper. I love making it appear to be 3D. So I just want to keep pushing these lenses and see where it goes. And that's why, even so, you know, who knows? Nikon may never do a medium format sensor in the Z mount, even so I think one will fit. A GFX 100 style sensor will fit. They're achieving pretty spectacular things with a 35mm sensor anyway, so if they ever went there, yep, I think you'd see me crying here on this very channel just going, oh my God, the beauty. Anyway, I'm pretty much crying already, oh my God, the beauty. The 105 and the 50mm have just shown me again what you can do in that super tiny space. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that little look at what these lenses can do and how easy it is to just pull off beautiful shots. And please let me know if there's ever been some shots where you were just, you know, casually going about your everyday life and then suddenly this beautiful shot came together which you thought, geez, that's good enough to be in a magazine. I'd love to hear those stories. All right, well, fantastic to see you here. And if this is your first time here, I would love to see you again. So please do subscribe, please share, like, click on the notification bell, and there is over 300 episodes that you can watch right now just down there. And please check out our website. We love sending prints all over the world. I think the sun's going to come out this weekend and I'll be doing a little tiny bit more macro shooting before I have to give those lenses back. Okay, I gotta go. Bye.